family. Thank you so much for joining us for another week. This is your boy J.O. and this is Kick That Gospel. Gospel is a brand and movement that me and my wife started in 2016 to take my love for kicks and my love for the gospel and see how they merge into the same room. If this is your first time, please go ahead and subscribe. Also hit that like button. Also share and comment when you get the opportunity to. If this is your first time hitting up the channel, we thank you. Appreciate you for checking us out. First little segment we're gonna get right into it. Can I kick it? Favorite kicks. This particular sneaker came out in 1988 in the All-Star game. Michael Jordan wore this particular sneaker and dropped 40. February 7th, 1988. Bring these babies up right here. Bam. Black cement threes in the building. As you can see, the man Tinker Hatfield with the Nike Air in the back. This is like that, call it that elephant print around the outsole, and of course that, I don't think they make leather this beautiful no more, but that black leather. So yeah, like I said, I wore these Sunday. Haven't worn them that much because it's kind of hard coming by a lot of these retros, man, because with the whole resale market going like it is, it's kind of hard getting these things for retail. So we just want to just go ahead and show these babies off. But man, I fell in love with them when I was a kid. I remember my mom got them for me when I was like 3 or 4 or whatever, and I just loved them. I love them. Me and my brother, my older brother, who I won't say, but he lives in New York now, but fell in love with the sneaker. Could remember when I had them when I was a kid, and those came out again. Was that 2018? They dropped, and so definitely copped that. And yeah, man, probably one of the best sneakers that I have in my little collection here. Next part we're gonna get right into as well. Some Urban Apologetics. Urban Apologetics by Dr. Eric Mason, restoring the Black identity with the gospel. Dr. Mason for many years has kind of, I call him Unc, but Dr. Mason for many years has been a light in the Black church community, and has been fighting tirelessly to not just affirm Black people with the gospel, but to point our people to a apologetic for the gospel in the Black community. So this particular book or piece combats a lot of false doctrines, Black Hebrewitism, Black Hebrew Israelites, Kemetism, like a lot of ancestral spirituality, New Age mysticism. This particular book, I'm only on chapter 4, so I am plugging away at it still. But this particular book is a tool to help us not just fight against those particular sets or cults, but it helps churches to be equipped, pastors, people to engage and understand how to love the faith with an anthrocentric love for the gospel. And he's really just fighting against a lot of ideologies and cults that seek to kind of reaffirm people's identity. As you know, Christianity has in the West done a lot of harm to African American people through the Atlantic slave trade, transatlantic slave trade, Jim Crow, civil rights movement, and a lot of things that have happened in America have done a lot of harm to African American people. So Dr. Eric Mason and his team of amazing writers, pastors, doctors, philosophers have done an amazing job to give us a tool to combat against a lot of those new things that are arising in our community that we're fighting against. Nation of Islam, Black Hebrew Israelites, Kemetism, just a lot of things that we today seem to just run to just because it affirms our identity more than Western Christianity, I guess, has. So definitely cop this book. Probably cost you about, I think, $25 or $27 on Amazon, but yeah, man, Urban Apologetics, love this book. Pastor E, thank you, man. We appreciate you, brother. Right, so last but not least, that gospel plug. I kind of wanted to look at, is God enough? I think in our world and our country, we struggle with identity issues, abandonment issues, and Christ is always showing us, Christ in God is showing us that He is enough. I want to look at Isaiah 48. Let's just check it out. I'm gonna get if you have your Bible, go ahead and look at Isaiah 48. I'm gonna go through 1 through 17, I think. So let's read. It says, "Listen to this, house of Jacob, those who are called by the name of Israel and have descended from Judah, who swear by the name of the Lord and declare the God of Israel, but not in truth or in righteousness. For they are named after the holy city and lean on the God of Israel. His name is the Lord of armies. I declare that the past events long ago, they came out of my mouth, I proclaimed them. Suddenly I acted and they occurred, because I know that you are stubborn and your neck is iron and your forehead bronze. Therefore I declared to you long ago, I announced it to you before it occurred, so you could not claim. My idol caused them. My carved image cast idol controlled them. You have heard it, observe it all. Will you not acknowledge it? From now on, I will announce new things to you, hidden things that you have not known. They have been created now and not long ago. You have not heard of them before today, so you could not claim. I already knew them. You never heard and you've never known. For a long time, your ears have not been open. For I knew that you were very treacherous and were known as a rebel from birth. I will delay my anger for the sake of my name, and I will restrain myself for your benefit and for my praise, so that you will not be destroyed. Look, I have refrained you. Look, verse 10, I have refined you, but not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. I will not act on my own sake, indeed my own, for how can I be defiled? I will not give my glory to another. Verse 12, listen to me, Jacob and Israel, the one called by me. I am he, I am the first, I am also the last. My own hand founded the earth, and my right hand spread out the heavens. When I summoned them, they stood up together. All of you assemble and listen. Who among the idols has declared these things? The Lord loves him. He will accomplish his will against Babylon. His arm will be against the Chaldeans. I have spoken. Yes, I have called him. I have bought him, and he will succeed in his mission. That's actually, we want to stop at 15. So, this is just been a question on my mind. It's like, is God enough? It just seems as if, obviously with the whole Urban Apologetics books with Pastor Eric Mason, it just seems as if like a lot of our age group have kind of gone into New Age mysticism, crystals, sage, different idols, and different faiths and beliefs that are not based upon the biblical canon. And so this is nothing new. The children of Israel and this particular verse that Isaiah is talking about are following kind of other gods, or have their heart or mind set on other gods or things, and they're abandoning the faith and the God that has created them. And so I always think that, man, is God enough? Like, is God enough for us to be sustained by this faith? and God's showing himself like, yo, I'm the God that stretched out the heavens. I'm the God that made the heavens and the earth stand up together. And it's crazy to think that when you've created something and your creation does not want to listen, does not want pretty much anything to do with you, like, how would you feel? I always also used to think that, like, if my parents were telling me something and I, didn't want to listen, I would just, disobey because I wanted to do my own thing. And that's just the truth of our generation. That's the hallmark of our generation, right? This self-love, self-care, this selfish mindset that always focuses on my needs, my wants. And we're always trying to exert this kingdom, above God's kingdom. And it delves into this tension. If you look at Genesis 3, Adam and Eve, literally, God gave them an opportunity to either understand good and evil on their terms, or allow God to define good and evil for them. Of course, they decided that they want to eat of the fruit, and they would figure out good and evil on their own terms and completely ignore God. So I just think it's interesting when I'm talking about is God enough, and seeing, like, friends, seeing people that I know just go into these different cults or different sets, or these different New Age mysticism, like, the whole thing of what is that? Crystals, like, crystals. People use crystals for healing. People do smudging, like using sage and trying to pray as a way to add to, I guess, some sort of faith that they have. And it's always like, I need something else because God's not enough. Like, and I think the scary thing is when we feel like God's failed us, and we don't deal with that, then we kind of would rebel and just go and do our own thing. And Isaiah is showing this, and he's saying to the people of Israel, like, you need to trust in the fact that God is who he says that he is. You've kind of followed after these carven images, these things that do not satisfy your heart, your mind, and your soul, but you think that they'll yield some type of love and truth. And God's saying that, those carved images don't know nothing. Like, those carved images have no knowledge. They have no power, but we think that they do. So I just think that it's interesting that that's the hallmark of our generation. Our generation is literally leaving the church at crazy numbers, leaving the faith, going into different sects or cults, because it affirms either an ethnic identity or affirms a brokenness. Some people have brokenness between mother and father, and so that they feel like they weren't affirmed by their mother and father, so they go to a cult or a group of people that do affirm them, kind of like a mother or father figure would. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous to see that people in the faith would go into these different cults and sets, but it's nothing new. This is from biblical time, that the children of Israel, when God brought them out of Israel, they they were on Mount Sinai, and Moses goes up and gets the tablets to give to Israel, to show them, like, hey, this is how we're going to live after coming out of slavery. They were down there making a carved image and celebrating another god. And it's just crazy to believe that when we put these expectations on God, it's really what it is. When we put our expectations on God and he does not live up to those expectations, then he can't be our God, because God is going to be this genie or this person that's going to yield what I want from him. It's as old as the Garden of Eden riff. It's as old as that. And that's where, if we're not careful, if we are not sure of our faith, then we'll go into these different winds of doctrine. Timothy talks about how people will have itchy ears and go into these different doctrines, so that they can get what they want to hear, not because they want to hear what God has to say. They want to be God of themselves. all of us in some way or another want to be God of ourselves. So I always think that we have to be careful to trust God and not trying to trust in our own way of life or our way of matter, because if we are not wise in trusting God and trusting that He is enough, then we'll try to find something to be God over our lives, or we'll try to be God over our lives in and of ourselves. And so I hope that that was encouraging. That comes from Isaiah 48. I think that was 1 through 15. But I pray that as you see this particular Isaiah is talking about Israel and its idle heart. I pray that you kind of see, where do you have an idle heart? Where have you and God had a rift that you need to deal with? Or maybe you've had a rift with the church, and the church has harmed you in some way or matter, and you feel like, man, the church has failed me. Just let you know that the church is full of messed up, jacked up sinners and people that are still in need of the same grace that you're seeking from God. And so I pray that this was helpful. I pray that you will continue to grow and know that God is enough. And I pray that this was a blessing for you. Again, please, thank you for joining me in this time. Please like, please share, please comment. Let me know your thoughts. Love you guys.